Almighty push. What's up guys, Pop101 here. Now I have something that you guys have been requesting for a very long time now. In today's video we're going to be going over all of the 150 voice commands. So let's get started. Okay guys, now before we begin I think we're going to need just a little bit of help. So without further ado, summon Magician's Hat. Now for those of you guys that have been watching my daily TikTok and Twitch streams at 11 a.m. Eastern Time at Pop101, you guys have seen this hat before, but for those of you that have not, all you need to do is stick your hand inside, and you can pull literally anything out, from lightsabers to medieval weapons to even swords like this. So, our very first command is Transmogrify. Basically what it does is it takes whatever you're holding and it transforms it into something new. Transmogrify. 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 Basically, like that. It is one of my favorite commands if you want to spawn in something, and let's say you have a weapon in the game like a sword you don't like, well, transmogrify. All you have to do is change it up, and look at that. It goes from a lightsaber to a blaster. Like, that is freaking awesome. But in addition to this transmogrify command, we also have a few more, which I'm very excited to show you. So, spawn dummy, spawn dummy, spawn dummy, spawn dummy. Okay, now that we've got a few of these guys in here, polymorph. It changes everybody into a chicken. How awesome is this? And yes, of course, you can of course use the blaster on them. Okay, but that's a bit much. Clean up. And to combine both of those together, just wait for it. And now that we've got these three things right here, morph everything. It changes all of the items in the game into something new, and everybody into chickens all in one command. I figured it was something absolutely hilarious to do, and man, it works perfect. For those of you guys like me that absolutely love these gigantic weapons and love beating enemies to a pulp with them, there has been something missing. Now for a bunch of these, not this one in particular, but if I did something like summon wooden club, and we spawn this in, look at this. If we try to imbue it with fire, oh no, no fire imbue. You can't actually imbue it, which is kind of cheesy and very unfortunate. Well. Add fire explosion. Now on collision, boom. It adds a fire explosion ability, which is essentially adding a fire imbue to these weapons. Now something completely that I did not have to add, but I really enjoyed it. So it does include the three main imbues, and to get rid of it, remove fire explosion. Okay. And there we go. Now when we try to do that explosion, nothing happens. Keep in mind, I do need to fix the particles working for the other imbues, but for now, add gravity explosion. And then, on collision, she ends up floating because she got hit with gravity. And yes, as you guys can tell, any items in the vicinity also get imbued with whatever thing is on them. For all of you guys that have been watching my streams, you know this command very well. Stop time. You can completely freeze any enemy in place. What I normally end up doing in the streams is freezing a bunch of guys like this and then doing summoning thrown dagger pouch. Something like this, and oh my gosh, I guess it flew away. You know, it is very popular for me to freeze time and then throw a bunch of items at the enemies, like these daggers for instance. Well. From here, the next command is randomly imbue all items. And it adds a completely random imbue to everything. We've got lightning, gravity, fire, we've got fire here, and even lightning over there. Yes, that is awesome, but if you don't want it to be randomly imbued, it's pretty simple. Imbue all items with fire. And there we go, everything gets imbued with fire. And then from there, let's say we want to spawn in a bunch of these things right here. A few of them can get imbued, so that is my goal. Alright, that's perfect. Imbue all items with fire. And then everything that can get imbued with fire, gets imbued with fire. Even this little Senbon needle right here, which can paralyze enemies. Pretty awesome. And yes, you can do this for every single element, even abuse that are not just fire, lightning, and gravity in Blade and Sorcery. From here, we have one of my absolute favorite commands. Explode everyone. So basically, everybody explodes, just like you saw. And yes, there are a ton of customizations to the voice commands mod. Like, you can customize the time stop, the reverse time, the ragdolls when frozen, dismembering on explosion, like what we just saw. So, spawn dummy. Explode everyone. Not only do they explode, but they of course get lit on fire as well and dismembered. Clean up. You can customize the auto-target force when we're throwing things that automatically target enemies and their return speed. Literally everything. There's a ton of awesome things for you guys to check out. I will be covering these a little bit later in the video, but for now, let's get back to what we're doing. We have two different voice commands for this one. Same function, but bonito flakes. We have the shockwave ability, or you can just say shockwave. Boom. Creates a shockwave, imbues them, floats them, knocks them back, and yes, of course, imbues those weapons as well. Random weapon. Cool. This is the perfect one that I wanted to showcase. Decrease size. Decrease size. Or, on the flip side, if you do not want a tiny scythe, increase size. Increase size. Increase size. And there we go. We have a freaking enormous lightsaber scythe. You can completely customize the size of any weapon, as small as you could possibly want it, to a limit. I believe the smallest size you can make is 0.25 or 1/4 of the original size of the weapons. Now this next one is a personal favorite of mine, so check this out. If you want to spawn in any weapon, so why don't we just do random weapon. Something like, oh, this lightsaber right here. All you have to do is say, create quiver. And then boom. Oh my gosh, our lightsaber is gone. I don't know why the heck a bowl just spawned, but that's awesome. Pull out whatever weapon is in there, which is typically just that one dagger, and then voila. You have a completely infinite pouch of all of these lightsabers, and yes, it does 100% work for every single weapon. Something really funny, check this out. Create quiver. You can even make a quiver of quivers. Now, I definitely did not mean to do this, but I'm keeping this in here just because I think it's absolutely hilarious. Imagine you're fighting an enemy like spawn enemy. They're trying to come at you, and all you do is you pull out a bunch of quivers and just start chucking them at the enemy. That's hilarious. For this next one, I'm gonna do this. Load market. And I absolutely adore the fact that the Blade and Sorcery team has made it so that loading into maps is super duper quick. Clean up. Now that we've gotten rid of everything, I do want to say I absolutely love the market map, but for some reason they decided to keep it dark. I absolutely hate that, so I created two things that will totally help you guys, because when I'm live streaming on both TikTok and Twitch, I can't do it. I hate streaming in the dark. It's not as good for you guys, and it's not as good for me. So, create lights. And voila! We now have a market where we can finally see things again. And yes, you can do as many as you want. So, create lights. Create lights. And then, of course, destroy lights. And now it is dark again. It's really that simple. But for those of you guys that want a specific point of sun, all you gotta say is create sun. And then you have a sun. Oh, it's so bright. Look at me now. You can actually see me again. Although this really isn't the best map for it because we have all of these blocking the sun, but we're not even going to talk about that. Destroy sun. And now we're back to normal. And yes, guys, you can say load whatever you want, and then you will load into whatever the map is. Now, this next one, I actually need a few ranged enemies so I can show off two of these awesome abilities. When enemies get close and you say force field on, any enemy that gets in the vicinity obviously gets blown back, and even when they shoot things at you, it gets blown back at them. But force field off. What I want to do, now that they're nice and close, one of my new favorite commands based off the anime Jujutsu Kaisen, we have Infinity On. And when they try to hit you, all of their arrows freeze or get much, much slower as they get closer to you. Come on. I'll let you try to get another hit in. Oh, you can't get me? Well, that's unfortunate. There you go, dummy. Come on. I'll even get nice and close to you. Watch what happens. When you get close to enemies, they get absolutely slow, just like before. And check this out. Literally nothing. Basically freezing in time with how slow they get. It's one of my favorite new... Since when can enemies shoot arrows on horses? That is absolutely awesome. I've never seen that before. Thank you for lighting your friend on fire. I appreciate it. Now with this one, there is a customization. So if we go back into our voice commands mods, we scroll down just a little bit, we will see the infinity distance. So you can change how far and how close the infinity acts. So basically, you can make it go throughout the entire arena if you really want it. But I do keep it nice and close, but it is completely customizable, guys. Now from here, we do have one which I highly recommend you guys play with. It is a static effect duration, which completely changes the duration of the status effect for every single thing that can imbue enemies or items. So, spawn enemy army. Watch this. Float everyone. Electrocute everyone. Burn everyone. And there you go. So you can completely add all of these different creature imbues to them, and yes, they only last up to those 6 seconds or as long as you customize it to last for. So one of my new favorites is if we go into the book and we change our NPC speed, all we need to do is spawn enemy. Make enemies slower. Now, it makes not just them slower. Hey, lady, how's it going? Oh, you almost got me. I don't think so. You make them slower, or you can just say, make enemies normal. And then they go back to their normal fighting. And yes, that does work for enemies or creatures newly spawned in. Really? Almighty push. Have a safe trip. And for those of you guys wondering, I will showcase it again. Spawn enemy army. Stop time. Basically, they're all trying to fight you, but they are completely frozen in time. They can't move, they can't do anything until you say, start time. Boom, and now they're back, now they're trying to kill you, but of course it has got to be one of my absolute favorite commands, because not only does it freeze them, but if I go into our book and I actually turn off our better performance, just like so, and we get, why don't we do a couple fireballs? Okay, ready? Stop time. Not only does it freeze them all in place, it freezes their weapons, but it even freezes both these particle effects and, of course, these items themselves. Items like this fireball and even random weapon. Like, you want to freeze lightsabers? Boom. Done. Start time. And then when you start it up again, all the velocities are saved, everybody moves the way that they were going, fireballs continue flying. It's got to be one of my absolute favorite commands, although now I do believe that and or the reverse time are currently bugged at the moment, which do cause the game for some reason to end up crashing after just a few minutes. So if this mod doesn't release as soon as I want to, those are the main reasons why. So I'll let you guys know sometime either in my Discord server or while I'm live streaming. I do not plan on releasing this fully until I can fix those issues, because obviously crashing, it's a problem, right? And a couple easy commands for you guys, which I've already shown just a little bit of, but spawn dummy, spawn enemy, spawn ally, spawn titan dummy, spawn titan ally. Oh, I guess we got a titan army instead, so that one is just spawn titan army, but spawn titan enemy army. And there we go. Normally, they're not all knights, just like this lady right here. Although, for some reason, the game wanted to spawn in a bunch of knights. I'm not exactly sure why, but it is a completely random chance. I guess we just got lucky. Hey, get out of here, lady. Clean up. Okay, now that we've gotten rid of those guys, we also have spawn chicken, Spawn horse. Spawn baron. All of these coming in here. So much fun to use. Also, thank you to Huge Honor for making this and making the horses. Absolutely fantastic modder, guys. Definitely check out his work. But yeah, we've got the horses. There's also, it's completely random for them, so spawn horse. You've got a bunch of horses, not to mention, they can even randomly spawn with the saddles. Hey, pal, get it going. And then from here, we can also do spawn chicken army. And now we have an army of the chickens. Shockwave. Clean up. Goodbye, all you chickens. And for those of you guys that have maps that do not have the spawners for whatever reason, or they're so big that you don't want to have to keep going to them, I made this for you. So let's go to a map just like that. Load Tuning Exam Arena. So just like this, it is huge. Sometimes you guys just want to fight enemies inside the tuning exam, and you don't want to have to go all the way over there. So, it is completely customizable. If we go back to our voice commands, and we scroll down to, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you can customize the size of the creatures with this, so let me just do this real quick. Spawn chicken. That is how, in my previous video, or one of them, I was able to fight a giant chicken. Hiya! Okay, so let's ignore that chicken. What we have right here is an enemy spawner. So why don't we do one enemy every 1 second? I think that's pretty good. Create enemy spawner. So it creates an enemy spawner, and every second one enemy spawns, or we can change it. So let's set it to clean up. Clean up. From here, every 1 second, 8 enemies spawn. But that's a bit much, so why don't we set this back to 1, and then let's do every 4 seconds. That should be enough. Clean up. It makes it so much easier so that you guys don't have to go all the way over there. And yes, of course, check this out. They are trying to fight you, and they are a completely random outfit, random weapons every single time, so it is a lot more fun, and combat is super diverse with this command. Although, I don't really want to use this right now, so I just want to say, create enemy spawner. For now, you just need to say it twice. I'm probably going to change it at some point, but until then, you just say it twice and then it stops. For those of you guys that are curious, I do want to say that there are a few commands that do work on Hector the Golem boss. So why don't we dodge his attacks real quick using Chilio's fly mod, which makes everything so much easier. And then when he's ready to start coming towards us, stop time. We can, of course, freeze the golem in place. I'm sorry, Hector. We're obviously still moving, but he cannot. And then he will, of course, resume his attacks. But first, infinity on. Start time. Oh no, so scary. You take that. I absolutely love playing around with this. One thing I really want to do is wait for him to chuck a meteor at us. So hopefully he'll try to get it soon. And look at this, he's gonna throw it at us, but since we have infinity on, his meteor freezes right in front of us and then it explodes. So after it is out of our infinity range, the meteor does explode. Okay, now obviously we are back playing against Hector the Golem. Now, there are a few other commands, like, yeah, we can stop time and then have him stop moving and all that, but we can open his faceplate, we can theoretically revive all the golems, but for some reason, that command in the game's code does not seem to work, so I just, haven't really fiddled around with that, so that command's not working. We can say kill all golems, so that every single golem that we're fighting against, especially with Rave's golem spawner mod, will end up dying, but one of my favorites, if you just want to get rid of the boss quickly, is open golem faceplate. And then, obviously you guys saw that, his face opens up, and you can just simply rip his crystal out of his head, completely stopping him from shooting that meteor, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. Although, one thing that I do want to stress is, yeah, well, this is cool. Unfortunately, at the moment, stop time. You cannot use the time stop on his pieces for some reason. I haven't actually looked into why that is yet. I might do it at some point, but for now, I don't particularly care. It'll be fine regardless. Okay, now from here, we do have a couple, so hopefully you guys think this is cool. Gun game on. I was a huge fan of playing the gun games back in the day, so just check this out. Spawn dummy. Spawn dummy. Spawn dummy. And then random weapon. Obviously, our random weapon command. When you kill somebody, after the first one, check this out. After a few seconds, you get a brand new weapon. Now, it is completely customizable. So if we go back into the voice commands, and then we go to our, let's see where it is, our gun game spawn delay. How long until you get a new weapon? So if you guys want to do some awesome kills, finish the kill and then get a new weapon, this is what I'd recommend. So, you kill them. After 1.5 seconds, you get a new weapon. Every single time you get a kill. Although, if you're not holding a weapon, one still spawns in your hand, just for fun. And, you know what? Let me just check something real quick, because I honestly don't remember. Spawn dummy. Let's see, if you kill them, and you're holding two weapons, you only get the one weapon. Okay, so I did code it so you'd only get one, because having two when you're doing this would be too overpowered. Now again, one thing I really do want to mention is this ability is very overpowered and has many different issues. But for the most part, it does work. Okay, now that we've got 3 people spawning here, let's just bear with me. Almighty push. Reverse time. Theoretically, they should come back. For some reason, some of them don't want to work, but then some of them also do. Okay, so check this. We do have 2 more commands, which I want to show real quick, but decapitate everyone. Reverse time. Their heads and everything do come back, and in order to, make everything how it was before, they do respawn. Now, I haven't made it so that they get back to their original positions yet. Just the normal enemies spawn how they were before. It does work. It is bugged, but for the most part, you can reverse time, which I think is super cool. I mean, come on, check this out. Reverse time. Look at that. I mean, that is freaking awesome. And then, normally, if their weapon is close enough to their hand, they will automatically grab it again, too. That is just another feature of this. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but it is still pretty cool the fact that you can reverse time in Blade and Sorcery. Although, I'm just going to turn this off. Yes, this one does track everything regarding the creatures, so if you keep this on permanently while you're playing, it'll cause a ton of lag over time. So I normally just keep this off, and I just keep this to sticking in, showing as an experimental feature. And I do want to mention something real quick, that all of the abilities like imbuing the enemies with things, removing their heads, you can also say dismember all and then they'll lose all of their limbs, which I'm not going to be showcasing in this video, but all of those you can customize. So by saying enemy, ally, all, or everyone, you can customize whether or not it works for just a single person, an ally, or, all. I guess it just makes sense, right? If we were right here and I was to simply say float enemy, the enemy that I'm looking at gets floated, or if I wanted to look at this guy, burn enemy, they get lit on fire. It's really that simple. It works completely custom for every single one, either individually or all together. I figured it would be perfect if you were fighting some enemies, you were fighting with allies, and then, you just wanted to take out the enemies, or your allies were getting on your nerves, so you wanted to get rid of the allies. Just for a little fun thing. And since we've got these 2 awesome guys up in the game, flamethrower on. You can turn on a hand flamethrower that you can shoot just by pointing these at your guy right there, or flamethrower off. And simply just shut it off. If that doesn't float your boat, just get rid of that one. Flame wall. It creates a wall of fire right in front of you, or you can simply just say that. Wall of fire. And there we go. Flames that nobody can go through, so check this out. Why don't we do it right here? I think this is a good spot. Wall of fire. Spawn enemy army. So they can try to come and fight you, but check this out. Because we have this blocking it off, they are now smart enough to try to go around it. Hey, back off, dirtbag. Such a fun mod. I absolutely love using this. Now, I don't really know how well this one is going to work, but you can also say infinite currency. So that, let's say you're currently, oh yeah, there you go, you guys saw this update, you get 10,000 of every single coin or crystal so that you can infinitely upgrade when you're during the crystal hunt mode, if you don't want to manually keep trying to collect those. I figured it was something a little bit easier for those of you guys that thought it was too tedious. If you don't like that, you can also just say, make me rich. And then you should also be able to say, I don't have the book on me, but you say read all lore, and then you'll get all of the lore points. Like, you can get the special stuff at the end of the game. I'm not really going to go into any more than that, but yeah. Here is my favorite weapon in Blade and Sorcery, the Slaughter Sword, because it's a sword, but it's also as long as a spear. So it's absolutely awesome to slash and to stab. One cool thing which I love about this is I can just say, imbue with fire. Boom, it's imbued with fire. Or, imbue with gravity. Boom, imbued with gravity. Or I can say, imbue with atomic dismantling jutsu. And boom, it's imbued with the atomic dismantling jutsu from Naruto. Literally any of the imbues that you could possibly want, you can add it onto the weapons. You just need to say imbue with and then whatever the spell name is. Alright, but now let's head over to the book. One cool thing which I really thought it would be awesome to add, all you gotta say is the name of the wave, so you'd say begin and then whatever it is. So begin swordsman duel 1v3, and then our wave over here will begin, and then yada yada yada, or you can just say stop wave. And then, ta-da, look at that. Fight ended. Boom. Super easy. And yes, it does work with any single wave that you want to use. Another one that is not perfect, but I do plan on upgrading it, is if you just say, random dagger. It should spawn in a random dagger every single time. Now, my goal is to make it so you can do this with every single category. It doesn't just need to be daggers or just a random weapon in general. I don't want to manually code it for every single category. I want it to work for modded categories as well. So I just need to spend a little bit of time finishing it. But for the most part, it works. Like, random dagger. Random dagger. Boom. Any kind of dagger, any single time. Now, we of course have the command that I've shown several times, which is random weapon. And we can spawn in, oh, look at that, one of Ichigo Zanpakuto's. Well, let's get rid of that. If that is not cool enough for you guys, and you want to do something like survival mode, initialize armory. Or, you can always just say, random armory. Which is what I normally end up saying. You can choose a bunch of random stuff every single time, like, from the beam sabers, we've got the Excalibur. From the Outer Rim, we've got the Wookiee Blaster. Like, you can choose a random weapon every single time out of 5 different weapons. And yes, I know you guys are curious. Random armory. If you do start up, oh, it's so far away. Just use telekinesis. Boom. It's that easy. Get out of here. Oh, and it came back. Very cool. Now, we do have a command that's called come here, which is broken at the moment. I'm not exactly sure what the issue is. I still need to fix it. But basically, it's supposed to make any item that you're looking at come to you, except if an enemy's holding it. For that one, we have another command, which is, check this out, spawn enemy. All you gotta do is say, oh no, they're coming at us. Ah, whatever will we do? Steal weapon. Their weapon flies from their hand to yours, and they still try to attack you, which I think is absolutely hilarious. Or, if that isn't good enough for you, spawn dummy. Look at this. This lady is standing there. It's still holstered. She has one of those daggers right there. Steal weapon. And then, voila. This one teleports directly to your hand. For some reason, I was trying to make it come off and then come to your hand, but the code was being a little bit weird. I will fix it at some point in the future, but for now, you still get it. You still steal her weapon, and just for the proof, oh no, it's gone. Hey, back up, dirtbag. A very, very easy command we have is break everything. Every single item in the arena, or any map that you're in that can be broken, will be. It's really that simple. There's nothing else to it. They just break. And on top of that, to get into some of the commands which I've said a few times before, remove all items. Every item in the arena is now gone. Or, check this out, random weapon. Spawn dummy. You can obviously customize what you want. You can just say, remove all creatures. And then boom, they're gone, the weapons are still here. Or, my absolute favorite, spawn enemy army. Clean up. Clean up removes everything, both items, and enemies, and it just makes the arena or whatever map you're in not just more clear, but it just completely makes the performance a lot better. Like, for example, I'm currently on here and we're playing, oh wow, a solid 90 FPS, which I gotta say, it's pretty freaking awesome, guys. So for those of you guys that have watched Naruto, there is an ability called the Amano Tejikara, which allows you to change places with an enemy. In this, though, I don't have it named as that. Of course, you can completely customize what you need to say in order to activate any of these functions, but for now, you can just say, swap. And then you change places with the enemy, or a classic one, switch. Boom. And there you go. And there is one that's also called transport. I don't know why it's not working at the moment. I do need to fix it, but when you say transport, your body is supposed to move right in front of an enemy and automatically face towards them. It's super easy to do. I didn't want to rewrite the code in order to do it. I think I'm going to have to, though. Summon nunchucks. Another good one, which I absolutely love, is check this out. So we have these awesome nunchucks. I believe they're made by Yuri. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I love the nunchuck. I love being able to fight, move it. I love the physics of it. But for some reason, I don't like using just one of them. So you can either spawn it directly, or if you don't know the name or the ID of a weapon, just say, duplicate. And then whatever weapon you had currently goes to your hand. It's that simple. So it makes it awesome if you want to just do that, chuck them at the enemies, or let's say, random weapon. Oh, here's a very awesome lightsaber. I have no idea what it's called. Duplicate. And then, voila. Boom, boom. Now you have two of them. Going off of that swap command, we do have a very cool one, kind of similar to it. It does automatically make you rotate to face the nearest enemy, which is teleport. You teleport in front of you, and you automatically rotate. So let's say I want to go right here. I'll be on the other side. Teleport. Boom. On the other side, and we're automatically facing them. Or, if that isn't cool enough for you guys, let's say you are stuck in a place, or you want to go up somewhere high, and you can't jump, you can't climb for whatever reason. Teleport up. It teleports you up, and it moves you forward just a little bit so that you can get on top of whatever the thing is. Definitely not needed, but is one of my favorite commands for getting out of a sticky situation when we're fighting a bunch of enemies, or if for some reason we're glitched, bam, you know what, why don't we actually showcase that, because I have something that can glitch us. Random weapon. Good, we're holding this, we can use our Kamui to phase through things. Oh no, everything is broken. You can either use the teleport command to go forward, or teleport up. Boom. And now we're on top. Hey, look at that. We're back in the arena. And there we go. So on top of the duplicate command, one that I will not be really showing because it's not too big of a deal, but if you're holding an item, you have no idea what it is, you can of course go in-game and then grab the chest, and then you can see right here what the name of it is. If you don't want to have to remember this after you put it in, or there's something really cool that, you just can't figure out, you can just say, what is this? The command will activate, and then if you go into the console log or your player log after, when you're finished exiting the game, it'll tell you in the log what the weapon you're holding is. It'll tell you the ID of the weapon, and same thing with a creature, it'll tell you what kind of creature it is. So if you're holding a chicken, if you're holding a human, if you're holding a horse, it'll tell you exactly what it is you're grabbing. And yes, it works on multiple things at once as well. Now, we do have a possess command as well, so we can actually become this creature and they become us. For some reason, the command doesn't want to activate right now, so I might need to change the wording of it. But simply, you're supposed to just say, possess, and then you become them. Although, I can confirm, typing it in the console does work perfectly. But for now, let's check this out. We have an awesome saber, and you know what? I don't even want to use the saber for this. Random dagger. This has got to be my favorite. You can say, auto target. And then it automatically aims at whatever the nearest creature is. Or, if that doesn't float your boat, check this out. Auto return. Oh no, I missed my attack. Oh, wait a minute. It comes back to you. Or, my favorite, boomerang. Spawn dummy. Oh no, he's attacking. Ah! Boom. Hits him. I didn't mean to hit him in the nuts, but that's awesome. hits him, comes back, and then there you go. You do need to say it for every single time you want it to activate. At the moment, it doesn't keep reactivating, although maybe I should make that into a different command. If that's something you guys would want to say, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. For those of you guys that have played the Crystal Hunt, you know in the upper left corner there is a bunch of map pieces. Well, sometimes I don't want to spend all the time trying to get those in order to unlock the boss because it can be super tedious, needing to replay the dungeons over and over and over. So, what I simply added was find map piece, and then after you do that, it'll give you a map piece. All you need to do is restart the level, and then bam, it adds another one to the collection. One command which I really do love is now we're fighting enemies. Oh no, they're attacking! Invisibility on. You become completely invisible and they no longer can see you, they can no longer attack you. And then you just say, invisibility off. Oh, I'm back here. Hey. And now they can attack you again. Okay, now here are a couple that I know you guys have been requesting. So, black hole. Or, if that doesn't float your boat, hollow purple. Or, if you want an even bigger one, giant black hole. Give me the big one. Oh yeah, absolutely massive. But along with those merge abilities, we have Gravnado. Or you can simply say Gravity Tornado. You can only have one of these active at a time because when this is gone, whenever that wants to be, Gravnado Wall. You can now create 3 gravity tornadoes at once, and yes, they do suck up any enemies that want to get into it. So it's absolutely incredible. And yes, guys, you can customize it, so you can just say, Fire Gravnado. Spawn enemy army. Uh-oh. And as you can tell, these enemies are getting lit on fire as they're getting absolutely yeeted out of those gravity tornadoes. Just look at them. And yes, guys, I know we have the black holes, the gravity tornadoes, but unfortunately we do not have the lightning Kamehameha fire merge. I know, just kidding. Plasma beams on. And there we go. If you guys want to take a look at me, they are literally like Iron Man, blasters or like one of his repulsor blasts or something. And yes, I know you guys want to. Obviously, they do light everything on fire. Spawn enemy army. Yes, you knock enemies back with them, and yes, enemies get lit on fire. It is one of my favorite overpowered abilities, and to turn it off, plasma beams off. It's awesome. And yes, guys, yes. Plasma beams on. Flamethrower on. You guys want to be overpowered? This is the mod for you. A couple simple commands that work on all enemies, or single, it just depends whatever you guys want to say. Check this out. Spawn enemy army. Destabilize everyone. Simple. They all just fall to the ground, or you can always just say, discombobulate everyone. Just like the discombobulate command, when you hit them in the head and they basically just, get all lumped over like that, they stop moving for a certain amount of time, those 6 seconds, which of course is completely customizable by you guys in our book. Not to mention, freeze everyone. We do have the time stop, but at the same time, just freezing them like this, I always thought it was absolutely hilarious. Not exactly sure why they're cuddling like this, but hey, I'm not going to judge, friends. On top of that, we also have the classic, kill everyone. Obviously, you guys can tell, they all just die in place. It's kind of it. And going back to the spells, we have Fireball. Shoots a fireball from each hand. It still works even if you're holding an item in that hand. I haven't removed that part yet. I might at some point, but for now, that's what we've got. We have Thunderbolt. Shooting a lightning beam out of your hand. Pretty awesome. And of course, Meteor. Boom. Shoots a meteor out of each hand. Which, I gotta say, it's pretty freaking awesome. Because you can knock them back, you light them on fire. It's epic. Let's just say real quick that you are currently being attacked by a horde of enemies and you don't want to use any of the other commands for whatever reason. You can just say, Decimation. And half of the enemies Okay, so it's not completely working yet. My goal for this, after I add some effects, is you guys see how they just fall down? When they hit the ground, like they do, they are supposed to vanish like they got Thanos snapped. So, my goal, obviously, if you've seen the Infinity War and Endgame movie from the Avengers, they fall over, and as soon as they hit the ground, boom, poof, into smoke. That's the goal. For now, at least, them falling over works perfectly fine. That is the start to that command, but keep in mind, guys, there are over 150 commands in total with everything. Not including if you want to summon something, those are each individually their own commands, so we're not even going to get into that because there's just so many. It's a summon for literally every single item, which, okay, maybe a bit much, but it works. So, check this one out. Spawn enemy army. Rain of arrows. Arrows come from the sky and pierce your enemies, and it is a random arrow every single time. But if that's not cool enough for you guys, you can just say, arrow rain. Arrow rain. And then it does the command as well. Yes, they are all different sized arrows as well, just because I figured it would be a little bit better, and, you know, it wouldn't be just so much repetition. My goal for this mod was to make it so you can play with as much diversity as possible. Because playing it gets a little bit boring after a while, unless you have some commands or some abilities or mods as overpowered as this. Hey, can you stop, please? On top of that arrow command, we have the others, which are Rain of Fire. Or you can just say Fire Rain, does the same thing. Just like the arrows, just like the fire, and just like the lightning, which I'm about to show off in a second, not only do the fireballs and the attacks come down from the sky, there is, I believe, a 50% chance that they will hit the enemies or not. Or just, you know, you can see, end at a random place. Rain of lightning. This is one of my favorites. Dang! Oh, I guess the lightning bolts really don't like her this time. Holy cow! I love that they're just aiming at her. That's epic. For this next one, let's pop into a wave. I think the 100-man challenge should be perfect. So whenever we have some people start coming in to fight us... Are they not going to fight us? Okay. Spawn enemy army. Oh, there we go. We do have some people trying to fight us now. Okay, it was just bugged out for a sec. We can say increased gravity. Enemies become slower, they try to fight you. Look at me, even jumping, this is my normal jump height. We're not jumping as high as normal. From here, we just need to say, normal gravity. And now, look at this. Oh, I can finally jump again. Everything is easier, and yes, even weapons and stuff way more. Although, if that's not cool enough for you guys, zero gravity. I did bring back my old zero gravity command, and it works flawlessly now. Hey, get out of here. Yes, everything floats, even items, random weapon. Things that just spawn in float perfectly, clean up. Summon Glock. Let's see, are we going to have somebody come in and try to fight us? Look, as soon as they spawn in, they come floating like this. Even when they're dead, they float, no problems. Or, I love that there's so many spawning over there and just going crazy. Normal gravity. Boom. They all fall. It's really that simple, guys. It works. Absolutely no problems with the zero gravity now. It has got to be one of my favorites to use. Although, I don't really show it off that much anymore. I really should now. For those of you guys that know, if you check your wrist, you can actually see your health, mana, focus, whatever the heck. If you just say, heal me, you get health. It's that simple. I'm not really going to show it. There's no point to it, but your health goes up, yada, yada, yada. Let's say you're being attacked by a bunch of enemies. Kill everyone. Oh no, they're all dead. Super easy. Now you can just say, revive everyone. Come back. Come back, everybody. I don't know, I guess she just wants to hang out and about. But yeah, they come back. They're supposed to grab weapons. Unfortunately for these guys, since we did spawn them in, they are a bunch of wusses and left the arena. One of my absolute favorites, torture enemy. Whichever enemy you're looking at, which just so happened to be this guy because my body's rotated, we freeze him. His feet get pinned up, his arms get pinned up, and he cannot move. Unless we kill him or he gets despawned. clean up. In other words, spawn enemy army. Torture everyone. Now you guys can just have a heck of a lot of fun with these dummies. We have 2 more commands which I'm going to tell you guys. I'm not actually going to say them, but you can restart the level, and then you can also quit Blade and Sorcery with these 2 commands. I'm not going to do them because it'll shut down the game and I won't be able to continue showing off these mods for you guys. Okay guys, but we have completely gone over every single command that is currently in the Ultimate Voice Commands mod for Blade and Sorcery. It will be released on VRG, virtualitygaming.tech, a link below in the description to get the mod sometime in the near future. But for now, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. But that's it. So if you guys like this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. Thanks for watching.